Hey everyone, my name is Ryan H. Lewis, and today we're going to talk about the new features in Serverless Framework version 1.22. It has been a while since my last video. Part of that is I got really busy with some other stuff, but also the Serverless team put on EmitConf down in the Bay Area, and they talked about a lot of cool ways that people are using serverless around the world in different companies. And they also announced some new things. One of the things was Event Gateway, which I'm going to do a video of later. But also they announced a complete rebranding. So you may notice this video looks a little different. It's not the typical black and yellow color scheme. They updated their site, so I kind of changed around my theme as well to match theirs. So if you haven't looked at it yet, it's pretty cool. Serverless.com. You can take a look at the new logo and the new theme for the whole site, and you can kind of get a preview or maybe a feeling of it in my video here. So the first new feature is provider support for Spotinst. Now, Spotinst is actually new to me, but it's a provider that, as far as I understand it, abstracts away some of the costs of AWS. So I think under the hood it is using AWS, but they do some magic on top, so it will actually cost you less. And getting things set up on Spotinst is as simple as running the serverless create -- template, and then there's a new Spotinst template that you can use. The next new feature makes Serverless CLI even cooler than it was before, and this adds some very robust functions that you can do with serverless plugins. Now, previously with the Serverless CLI, the serverless plugin command was really focused on creating a new plugin. But now you can do cool things like searching. So you can say serverless plugin search and then add a query like Webpack or S3 or API Gateway, and it will actually go out to the official serverless plugins repository and search to see if it can find something that matches your search term. You can also then take what you just searched for and then install it with the serverless plugin install -- name command. And this will take that plugin, it will install it via NPM, it will add it to your serverless YAML, and get you all ready to use it. And once you've done that, maybe it's not the plugin you wanted, maybe you're just trying to clean things up a little bit, you can also use the serverless plugin uninstall command, which does the same thing. Why would you want to use this over NPM? Well, it automatically updates your serverless YAML as well. So it kind of cuts out a couple things that you would have to do manually, and it makes it a little bit smoother to get plugins installed in your serverless application. The next new feature is for AWS users, and it's the addition of support for SSM parameters. Now, SSM is a feature of Amazon EC2, and it allows you to store sensitive data such as passwords and license codes in a secure way in AWS. When you reference it in your code, you don't actually reference the password in plain text, but you're able to get that from the Systems Manager parameter store in AWS. Now with serverless, you can use the SSM : prefix for variables, and it will actually connect to AWS and get that value for you, which is a really nice way to do things. I know in the past when I've had some sensitive data, I've always had to do kind of weird things to make it more secure in my YAML. So it's really nice that this is an option for AWS users now. Another new feature for AWS users is an enhancement to the deploy function CLI command, and that adds the ability to also deploy function configuration instead of just the code. Previously, when you would run serverless deploy function, it would only deploy the code. It would zip it up and it would just deploy the zip out. But now it will deploy the code and it will also deploy new configuration options, such as timeout role. These are just some examples, but basically any of the configuration that you have in your serverless YAML for functions, it will update those as well as the code. And keep in mind, this is only for development purposes because it breaks outside of the CloudFormation stack. So it's not something you want to add into your CI/CD pipeline, but when you're developing and you're trying to get a fast iteration cycle to see if things work, this is a perfect use case for it. And the last new feature is another thing that just expands the reach of serverless, and it's adding support for Kotlin on the JVM. Now, this is sort of a similar thing to when they added F# a few releases ago. Basically, because AWS supports these runtimes like the JVM or the .NET platform, you're theoretically able to run serverless applications in any code that compiles down to bytecode that can run on either one of those platforms. In this case, Kotlin is a language which I'm not super familiar with, but it's sort of like Scala or Groovy, where it compiles down to Java bytecode and then it just runs on the JVM. Because of that, you can write your serverless applications in Kotlin and then compile down to bytecode and upload it up to a Lambda and run it in AWS. There's an existing template for it, which also uses Maven, and you can install it with this command serverless create --template aws-kotlin-jvm-maven. So another great way that you can use serverless in whatever language you choose. And that's it. If you want to grab this latest version of serverless, you can run npm install-g serverless at latest. Check out all the new documentation and definitely check out that new theme at serverless.com. And definitely don't hesitate to get involved. There are plenty of ways that you can contribute today in the serverless platform. Anything from answering questions to small bug fixes to documentation changes are very welcome by the team, and it's a great community to be a part of, so check it out. And thanks for watching this video. If you got some input or questions on serverless, I'd love to see your comments below. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you want to see more videos on serverless AWS and anything else under the sun. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.